Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and this is episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And remember that documentary that Ortega's little brother Beto was working on? Well, we finally get to see the fruits of his labor. And oh, yeah, shaved off the beard, trimmed up the hair a little. Anyway, this has actually been sanctioned and approved by Starfleet. And there is even some footage that has been declassified just so it can be used here. And the name of it is What is Starfleet? And sprinkled throughout, we have individual interviews with different crew members and the captain, the doctor, Ortega, Jan, Una, Uhura, and Spock, and Pike. And it reminded me a bit of that one MASH episode, that special episode they did, where it was basically a news service was filming interviews with the doctors and nurses of the 4077. It kind of reminded me of that, only with more action. So they are then given a mission. And there's a planet called Lutani. Is that how you pronounce it? Lutani. And they've been attacked by a neighboring planet, Kasana. So they are being ordered to take them supplies. They're going into a war zone. And there's one very specific thing they need to get. It's some kind of animal that is necessary. And it's on this other planet. Now, and it's huge. There's no way they could bring it on board. So they're going to have to put a containment field around it and basically haul it to Lutani. So they go there and they find out this creature is this huge aquatic space creature. It comes up out of the seas on this planet, comes up kind of a cross between like a butterfly and a manta ray and things. And up while they're there, a Lutani scout ship shows up and attacks the creature. And the creature returns, shoots off this burst of radiation that knocks down the Enterprise's shields down to 40% and does just unimaginable damage to that scout ship. And Pike has the survivors beamed aboard, and only one of them is still alive, and that is Dr. Guion. And she's begging Chapel and Mbenga not to use this creature, to destroy it. For the sake of everyone in the galaxy, this is an evil that cannot be unleashed, and then dies. Well, okay. After hearing this, Pike, of course, contacts Starfleet, which we don't get the replies. Those are redacted. But basically, they say, you have your orders, carry them out. So Pike reluctantly agrees. Now, the creature manages to get through the containment field. It's a lot stronger than they thought. And so they start to go after it. Pike using the analogy, well, I've roped enough steers in my time. I think we can do the same here. And while this is going on, during that original attack, they had picked up some odd signals. Uhura has determined that this is an actual language that creature has. Kind of sounds like whales, you know, if you've ever heard whale songs. It sounds like that. And she proposes that they try and communicate with it. And Spock's all for it, but Pike's like, we don't have the time for you to decipher all that. And So they're going to try and hit it with some proton torpedoes and get a dampening field on it, or a neural dampener, so that it will go docile. Well, they have trouble penetrating its skin, and it retaliates. So they've backed off, and they're still following it. So, with nothing better on the table, Pike agrees to the attempt to communicate. And, see, I'm missing something here. Yeah, back when the original attack where the shuttle was hit, things are getting tense, and Pike told Beto he has to get off the bridge. So he's taken off the bridge, but then we cut in with some footage declassified of the security cameras on the bridge. We don't learn much there. It's just them doing their stuff during a tense situation. And then later, Beto is talking to Uhura about the fact they're taking a creature and it looks like it's sentient, and is she okay with that? And Uhura realizes Beto has an ulterior motive for this documentary. He wants to prove bad things about Starfleet and the Federation itself. And she gets very angry with him, and they have an argument, and she says, "Don't come back to the bridge." And storms off. Spock, Chapel, and Uhura head out in a shuttlecraft to try and communicate with the creature. Earlier, they had noticed Spock had a connection with the creature. His Vulcan psionic abilities, because it's so intense from the creature, he zeroed in on it quicker, and it was a little overwhelming. So they've got Chapel on hand to help things. And just as Spock makes contact, a Lutani warship arrives, accuses two Pike that the Federation is trying to steal their creation. And they won't let him, and they start to attack the creature, and another burst goes out. The shuttle is hit, as is the Lutani ship, which it then holds to itself. It basically puts it on hold so it can't escape. The shuttles manage to get back to the Enterprise, where Spock and Uhura are put in sick bay. Spock is put in a medical coma so that his brain can heal. During this time, they've also found out that this creature has been modified through scientific experiments, and it is very aggressive and wants only to kill. And it's got Pike's dander up there, and there is footage of him and Una discussing this, and there's back and forth, and they feel really crappy about this, but they've got their orders, so they've got to figure out what to do. It's also the thing that they may have to destroy this creature if it gets away from them, because it can, attack planets or other ships and cause havoc. Well, Uhura volunteers to try and make contact. They can make contact with the Enterprise. She'll be looked over by Dr. Mbinga, who earlier we learned his entire military history is redacted. And he's reluctant to talk about. There's a lot of things people are reluctant to talk about. Pike's asked about if he's ever killed anyone, and Pike is like, yes. What was it like? I'm not going to talk about that. There are some things people do not wish to dredge up. I'm sure if you've ever killed anyone, you would have the same answer. Yeah, that's something that weighs heavy on you. Uhura does make contact, and basically this creature wants to die. It wants the Enterprise to kill it. It'll release the lieutenant if they can kill it. It will follow. If you just fire on it, it will follow anywhere. Just destroy it. It doesn't want to be a weapon. It didn't ask to be a weapon. Its children back on its home planet are not changed. They are peaceful creatures. Please help. Pike immediately contacts Starfleet, explains the situation, and Starfleet reluctantly agrees. Pike can have the creature destroyed, and they will not take any others to that planet. And they will make sure the lieutenant don't continue this experimentation. So Kirk informs them of this, and they're very upset. And he just puts out point blank, we will continue to give you supplies that you need, medical supplies, food supplies, but we will not allow you to torture these beings anymore. That planet is now under our protection and is off limits to everybody, because they don't want them to fall into other people's hands either. Well, they fire on the Litani. It lets the creature lets the other ship go, and it follows them to a solar system, the near solar system with a sun. And when they get there, everybody observes as it flies into the sun and destroys itself. Afterwards, Uhura and Beato have a heart-to-heart, and Uhura correctly understands why Beato is so against the Federation. He feels like it took his sister away, and he's been down on it ever since she came back from that capture by the Gorn and had to have her hand rebuilt. And which is why throughout this whole thing he's always asking her how her hand is. And then Beato seems to get it, and he goes to Ortega, and she shows that she is handling her PTSD that we had seen earlier, and that she is becoming okay with what happened. She can move past it. She's not going to forget it, but she can do her job and be the best she can be. She's coming to terms with everything. And so Uhura gets the final say on what is Starfleet. It is the people. It is not the organization. The organization does not run the people. The people run the organization. Pretty good. I thought this was going to be a pretty boring or a comedy one. The last thing we also see is everybody, including Captain Patel, in Pike's quarters having a banquet. He'd fix all this stuff up, and they're all laughing and enjoying each other, and Beato is a part of it. So yeah, I thought it was going to be kind of boring, like or like a comedy. It's going to be another one of those comedy episodes, but it in fact was a pretty interesting one. It's pretty heartfelt, and shows the downside of Starfleet. They'll give you orders that seem very contradictory to what their philosophy is, and are not told why. But then they get redeemed at the end by, this is a sentient being. Well, they've been experimented on by these other creatures. We can't allow that. So a little more hopeful than we are these days, which, much like the Superman movie, this gives you hope for humanity. That maybe we won't turn out to be as bad as we seem to be lately. But, yeah. Okay, episode. But next week is the one that they heavily promoted, where Chapel, Spock, and La'an get turned into Vulcans for a mission that then can't be reverted back. So that'll be an interesting one. Yeah. That's about all I have to say for this one. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.